financial business community the knowledge they have. Even if in countries with very prestigious university like the Politecnico, the communication between the university and the business and financial community has to be improved. And also to find innovative fundraising strategies, which is most are used, but there is still space to work on. From the research organization point of view, both private or public, I think one of the key points to focus on is to consider intellectual property asset as a core output. So it's an asset that has a value. When you produce research, you need to think that IP is a core asset output where you can build on the funding process. And increase the technology, intelligence, and what I call know-how and patent bundling. Bundling the know-how and patent is important. 50% of licensing worldwide is know-how. 50% is really the IPR. This bundling is important. There is I make a case, the Imperial College of London, they have the funding they get externally is 800 million pounds in know-how transfer and 50 million in patents. So you see the quite different mix. Patent is not everything. Know-how is extremely important. So this was the framework and the issues, many issues to work on. What will we do in the intellectual property finance? First of all, there is a strategic intent, and really I want to thank Professor Calderini, his staff, and the Polytechnic in really understanding in this, let's say, 18 months we worked together, in understanding and positioning this institute as one of in reality, as far as we know, the first European research center focused completely on IP economics and finance. It's not just, it's really focused. We need focus since, as Professor Rossetto said before, is alchemia. We need to reinforce and strengthen the competencies, very narrow. It's a non-profit organization. We develop know-how transfer and initiatives. And the basic idea is to foster synergies and cooperation. And we provide also knowledge and expertise to design and to help institutions to leverage on this class of asset. The objective is, first of all, we need to support the adoption of the best practices in managing these assets. Management before financial, really value management. And this is one of the objectives. The second one is to support the development of financial solutions in terms of financial and technical methodologies, valuation, and so on. The third one is to help firms to increase the value of the asset, but also to find the right monetization solutions and what we call financing architecture, which is more comprehensive than the typical solutions. Is to really to understand from financial and industrial point of view how to use the asset as a core value to design around this value. The body of knowledge, this reflects what the statement of the professors of Politecnico said before. We share the knowledge. We have developed a certain knowledge in our research unit in terms of databases, cases, experiences, and so on. The same did the group of Mario Calderini, the Innovation Study Group, with several, let's say, almost 100 publications on this subject. So there is a good body of knowledge where we can build on. Obviously, we need the contribution, and contribution, this type of initiatives are essentially two: knowledge and know-how, and funding. But knowledge is extremely important since we we can really, we need to learn each other and growing in the learning curve of this subject. Basically, there are 6 research lines or areas. We will focus in few this year. The first one is really understand the demand of the market by industry and cluster, value of the asset, where the assets are, what value they have, financing solutions, and risk management methodologies in terms of both valuation and also developing IP insurances. And then the other business model for IP exploitation, which is a rather interesting issue, well exploited in US. We have a lot of experience there to learn. SME, medium small enterprise, the Institute has also an objective to have a fallout, and this is the reason Chamber of Commerce is really supporting our activity. The fallout is really how to help this fantastic territory we have. We are in the right place at the right moment in this territory, very rich territory, from this point of view. Couple of slides and I finished. The Institute in 2009 will develop research and knowledge transfer. We call knowledge transfer, which is a form of action learning through a methodology we have developed in past on 3 areas. First one is the IP value by industry and technology cluster, global and regional. We will work at the regional level, European level, and global. Is an ambitious goal, but step by step, and during the year, I think we will get there. First project, which is a flagship project for us, is the Clean Tech project. We are going to start a project in building a patent database by Clean Tech segment. There are many segments in Clean Tech, 8 to 10, 12. And we will, the objective is to match the demand and the supply. The demand is really, we need finance, and we have a portfolio of assets in the company that play this game of clean tech. And the other one, financial institutions, both banking or funds, are really investing more and more in this new wave of technology, of green technologies. So, but the first point is, do we have the patent? Where the patents are? Who owns the patents? Are the patents valuable? SME project, Small Medium Enterprise project, is a project that we run at the district, at cluster. We are thinking, we're planning in Torino, the mechanical, there is the aerospace, there are many other clusters, specific mechatronics, where the project is valuation and communication, the value of the owner of these assets. The other flagship project is the IP financial, the IP risk management for financial institutions. We think that is there that we can really have, let's say, a positive way of thinking between practitioner, companies, and financial institutions, and see where the risks are. Is this asset base valuable or not valuable? And what to do to improve the rating of these assets in the process of, in the lending process, or in the process of evaluating the asset against equity operations and many others. So this is a flagship project where we really work hard, since financial institutions are extremely important in this exercise. So these are essentially the objectives, programs, and the picture I gave you is not comprehensive. I think speakers after me will be more in depth on some specific issues. Members, the Institute is open to the members. There is different level of members, executive members, associate members. As I said before, we do need know-how contribution, and also, obviously, as we are on the market, as we said before, the funding contribution is important. I can tell you, this is my personal opinion, working in this area since some years, many years. We have the brain power, we have the competencies, we have in the right territory. So I think in terms of the success, as obviously 100 days are important, but we have all the elements. And in few words, the future is in our hand. And thanks so much for listening.